Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joining with your other host,
Karen.
And for this episode, we are going to be talking about Khanate. I think that's how I say that, right?
I think so.
Khanate?
According to the Google machines, it's Khanate.
When you turn it on, like pronounce this for me and say it.
Yeah.
Khanate. So it's spelled Khanate. It's going to be the name of the episode, so basically that.
Yeah.
Khanate, we believe it is. They were here in Chicago at Thalia Hall again on May 30th, a Friday.
Yes.
This last Friday, actually, recording a couple days later, as of the recording. And in support, they had Jon Mueller. Both of these bands I'm not really super familiar with at all. We'll get into like how we discovered this and whatnot, but real quick, pricing and whatnot. Again, this was at Thalia Hall. We paid $40 for our tickets, which were balcony tickets.
Yes, we got balcony for this one. Yeah.
Knowing a little bit about the music, I was like, this will be cool. I can take some edibles and just sort of kick back and relax and hang out in the balcony and watch this and just absorb the music, which is what I ended up doing. But yeah, $40 for balcony tickets. We were allowed to go down the floor if we wanted to. We didn't. We sort of just hung out up there.
Yeah, but recently we've been to Thalia Hall for Paleface Swiss,
Yep.
and we were on the floor for that. So we've experienced both now.
Yep. Also with fees, there were $11.81 in fees and then 40 whole cents in tax.
I'm sure regular tickets for this were probably like $25 or something.
Maybe, or maybe it was 42 and you just picked where. I can't remember when we bought
it was
tickets.
40 flat.
Yeah, I can't remember if there was a difference between the balcony or the GA seats or whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are, sometimes there are not. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Not too bad, I don't think, for a balcony show.
I mean, I have to say though, we've stood in the balcony at House of Blues, and now we've sat in the balcony here. We've also done like Riviera and the Vic.
Yeah, yep.
Balconies, but for the balcony seats here, I thought it was a great deal for $40 compared to like the $150 that you have to pay at like House of Blues or something.
So we talked about the venue last time for that Paleface Swiss show. We didn't go up to the balcony there, so we can talk a little bit about the venue from that aspect now. We did go to the balcony here, obviously. We've said that a bunch. But you go up the stairs and you're let off into a bar that's up in the balcony, like an actual bar.
Yeah, with like tables or like 3 or 4 tables.
Some high top tables that you can hang out in. It's a big open space. It's also where the bathroom is up there as well. A gender neutral bathroom, just like they are downstairs.
Yep.
One difference that the downstairs had, they had sort of the saloon doors for the urinals. This was just stalls, I think, all the way along.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think they're all stalls. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. The bar was there, like we said. Then you go up outside of the bar. You leave the bar area to get into the seating area. Somebody up there checking our wrist to make sure we had like the little stamps, and then we could be up there. They do have that center house sound stage up there as well that we noticed. They have one on the main floor and one upstairs as well. So I don't know why they have 2 of them.
I wonder if they have 2 just to make sure it sounds good on both. Maybe
I don't know.
One's for lights and one's for sound or something.
Maybe, yeah. I noticed.
Sure.
I mean, we noticed that last time. And I didn't think there was one on the ground last time at first until we were leaving.
Yeah.
And I noticed the one up top and was like, oh, that's kind of cool to put the sounds, like your sound stuff up there and not on the ground.
That way you have a full floor.
Yeah, but no, it was on both as well. Around sort of, that's, again, front of house and whatnot. So it's just basically an oval from that standpoint. Yeah. And there are about, I think, 3 to 4 rows of seats. Not that many seats.
Yeah, not that many. And they're like theater type seats.
Yep.
They're like fold out.
Like old school theater seats too. I think the upholstery was redone, but it's still like the wood back and whatnot. Yeah. Really kind of cool aesthetic.
Not that comfortable, but it was okay.
And then they also had like bleacher style seating all the way on stage left and stage right as well.
Or like pews, like wooden pews.
I guess so.
I guess, they were kind of bleacher.
I was thinking like bleacher seating,
I guess. It's not really bleacher though, because in my mind a bleacher is like...
You'd have a lot more.
It's just 2.
It was
like
staggered
one behind
up,
us and then 2 on the sides.
Yeah.
And then behind everything was high top tables for VIP seating.
On stage left, stage right corners. Yeah, there were 2 little sections that were like VIP seating that had high top tables, like 3 or 4 high top tables. So it seemed like a group could go up there type thing. Yeah. You also looked up while we were at the restaurant, went to the Tonk again, the barbecue place just right around the corner. We need to check out other food. Like there's a really well-known Mexican community over there, and like the Mexican there is supposed to be the best in the city, I think.
Like good tacos, great tacos,
And I've had it once way back when. I'm not a big Mexican fan in terms of food, but you are, so we need to get out there for you.
Yeah, I'm very plain on mine though. Like steak and a taco shell or the tortilla. Like, that's all I want. I don't want all the stuff on it. But it's more than what you like, because you like cheese on a tortilla.
Basically, yeah. What are those? Quesadillas.
Quesadilla.
No. Yeah, quesadilla. Yeah, quesadilla.
But like,
that's my
you
thing.
don't want the meat on there because you don't like the shredded salsa meat and stuff.
And I'm not a fan of that. No. I like solid chunked meat up.
Yes,
yeah. Anywho.
This is not a taco episode.
No, but we were sitting there getting dinner and getting a few drinks before the show. And I think you looked up, even because they do have sort of boxes or or those are boxes,
yeah, the
right?
boxes by the stage. There's 2 on each side.
3, I think.
No, there's only 2.
There's one way up top by us, and there's 2 down low, I think.
Are you sure?
I can't remember. There's 2 to 3. Let's just say there's 2 to 3 boxes.
I thought there was 2 on each side, but anyway.
But it was like $600 to get that.
No, it was $328, and you got 6 tickets.
Gotcha. That's what it was. Yeah. So $50 a ticket.
Yeah.
So if you have 6 friends to go with, you buy one of those. They're right on stage.
Yeah. I don't know if that was just the price for this show and other shows are different prices or what, how it works. But I even said, I was like, if we had people to go with, like, that wouldn't be that bad.
No, it wouldn't. I don't know if it probably varies by venue or by artist to artist. It might vary, but that's still, that's like, still not that bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this price could have just been for this show, and then like a different artist might be, $600 or whatever. But
and we've never done one of those, so that'd be kind of cool to do someday.
Yeah. If we find somebody who we really, really like, maybe we should do it. Just to do it.
But again, we walked straight into this venue, and they had the chalkboard done up for the artist. You got a photo of that again. Yep. Maybe we can throw that up right here.
Yeah, I got a better photo because there is a light that shines on it. So last time I didn't do it right, so it was like kind of the light shining. But this one's better.
Only our second time here. The first time we were talking about this, like, it's really not that convenient to get to. It kind of sucks in that regard. Same thing we kind of said about the salt shed. But then the second time we went to the salt shed, we realized, this is actually a very easier, not very easy, but it's much easier to get to than we initially thought.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Much easier than we initially thought, because you can just go down to Cermak and take the bus on over. Yeah. I can't remember what the street was.
So, I mean, it's Cermak that you go
No, but that we got off on.
Oh, we got off on Racine.
Racine, right.
So it's the 21 bus that goes along Cermak, and it also picks up at the Green Line and the Red Line.
Yep, the Chinatown Red Line and the Cermak Green Line. Yep. So pretty easy to get to if you get off on those trains.
Yep.
It also lets off by the radius.
It does, yes. So we didn't realize that. Or, I mean, we realized it this time because you go right by the radius. But I'm like, that's convenient in the wintertime when we don't want to walk that walk.
But also sometimes it's just quicker to walk. The way the buses work and the way traffic works, it can be quicker to walk.
This was a Friday night, and I think we stopped at every single stop along the way.
Yeah, we
did. In the city, I mean, I'm sure anybody who's done transit in the city, when you stop every single stop, it's like, oh, this takes forever.
I was actually kind of shocked how busy that bus was.
I know. But I mean, if you think about it, there's not a train that goes past like the Red Line or...
Out west, you mean?
Yeah.
No, there really isn't.
Unless you get to the Pink Line.
The Pink Line is the next one, right?
I mean, that's quite a ways over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, to get from downtown, you probably do take the Red Line down and then get on the bus and then go across. But anyways, that was so much more convenient. And then I think you walk north like 4 blocks or something like that. It's not that far.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't really that bad.
No.
Like initially we were like, this is really a pain in the ass to get to. It was also Saturday. We were trying to take the bus, and again, the bus systems sometimes in Chicago can be kind of fucking ridiculous in terms of your wait time.
Yeah.
Even the weekdays.
Yeah, but like sometimes on the weekdays.
If they get backed up, you can be waiting 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. So we were like, fuck it, let's just get a car.
I guess that is true, because if you're waiting for that bus that we were in traffic with, like, you could be waiting for a while just because you're waiting for the traffic. But
we changed my mind. This is actually a pretty cool little neighborhood to get to. It's much easier than I thought. The neighborhood is fucking awesome. There's a lot of nightlife, a lot of restaurants that we're going there. Not going there, but that are there.
And they say they're not like they don't seem like chains anyways. We don't know anything about them, but even the first time we went walking around, a lot of them see like mom and pop.
Yep.
I remember walking by one, it said sold out, like written on paper. So I'm assuming.
Oh, you mean when we the first time? Yeah, because of the restaurant, we're trying to find restaurants to go to, and it was like, we've sold out of all our shit, so don't even bother coming in.
Yeah, so I mean, there was people eating outside, but the sign said sold out, so I'm assuming it was like, we're done. Like, we don't have any more food to sell you.
Also, when we left this night, the venue itself seemed like they had a little bar area with an inside-outside windows. They had them all open and whatnot. So while we're waiting for our Uber to go back home, you could listen to the music, and it was just some lady playing the piano or something, having fun, and it sounded awesome. Sounded like a really cool place. The bar was super busy. I think there was another bar on the other side as well of the venue, like that was pretty busy as well. The Tonk, when we left last time for Paleface, they had live music, and I think this night they had live music as well. So
we didn't go back this time.
Lots of music, lots of nightlife stuff going on there. It seems like a really, really cool neighborhood that I want to get out to a lot more now.
There's a record store right across the street from Thalia Hall.
Oh shit, that's right, like 606 Records or something.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah,
that might be the wrong name, but is it 606 Records? Yeah, Brian was right. It was 606 Records. It
happens from time to time.
Yeah, that little area. I'm glad that we found the 21 bus for us from our neighborhood. That's more convenient than.
And even for people traveling, like taking the train down to Cermak or even the Red Line down to Chinatown, like those are pretty simple stops to get to. And then the bus is like right there.
But yeah, I think we'll go over there more. Not necessarily go to Thalia Hall, but to go over there more for other things. So,
but I mean, I love the neighborhood. Thalia Hall is fucking awesome. I love Thalia Hall. It's only our second time being there, and both times have been fucking phenomenal. From the venue itself just being this sort of old school, kind of rundown, kind of not rundown. It's like it's got that feel, it's got that charm to it that we really like. The sound there is fucking phenomenal. The staff is always fucking great. Or the last 2 times we've been there, it's been great. Beer prices are cheap, like
cheap-ish.
$10
for the city. They're cheap.
So like that's what you know. You go to like a House of Blues, you're paying $15 to $20 for a beer. Here you're like 10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. We might be going back later this month. I forgot they're doing like a pirate punch. Oh,
I don't remember that. I remember you showing me that a little bit, but I don't remember much about that. I
put it on our calendar, but I don't think we bought tickets yet.
We'll have to look into that. Yeah. I love this place. I want to go more often. I know. I'll have to keep a closer eye on it. I don't think they get a whole lot of metal out there, though.
No, it's a lot of the things that I have seen are a lot of like alternative or poppy stuff, more like that. A lot of where it's an acoustic guitar, people playing with it. That's just what I've seen because I've looked at the schedule a lot since we went the first time. But we might have to check something like that out just to get
back to this venue.
To get back, yeah.
I mean, if you had to give me like what's my favorite venues of all time, the Radius is up there. Thalia Hall's definitely up there, almost to the same level of the Rave.
The Rave I think is top of my list.
This and the Rave are neck and neck to me. I think so. It's like
Mission Ballroom in Colorado is still up there for me, but I don't know
when we're gonna get back there. That's the thing. The Thalia Hall and the Rave are the two. Like, all right, if there's a show there, that's where I want to see the show. Yeah. In any case, Thalia Hall's fucking awesome. Definitely check it out if you can. So fuck yeah, Thalia Hall is awesome. And we experienced some new stuff out here at Thalia Hall.
This was an interesting concert. So
getting into the concert then a little bit, we have Jon Mueller.
Jon Mueller. Do you want to explain what Jon Mueller is, or do you want me to explain?
Well, so all right, it's just one guy, right? Yeah. It's not like normally you see a band that will say such and such name, and then there's like a backing band or something that goes along with them. Jon Mueller just comes out, we're sitting there in the crowd, people are chattering and whatnot. I can't remember if the lights dimmed a little bit or not.
I can't remember.
I don't think they did. I think he just walked out and took his seat in front of all of his percussion instruments. Yep. And then just started playing.
Yeah, so it's like a square out of because we used to build shelves out of the piping, but it's like the metal, not PVC pipe, but it's like the metal pipe that goes together.
Yeah, it's like a plumbing pipe almost. Like you can hang, that's what we use for like my tap handles. We built shelves that use those as like the things. We build for like the industrial type look.
Yeah, like we did curtains out of those and stuff. Yeah, so it's the black ones, and then he had hanging from that like 2 kind of gong things on right and left.
2 different gongs on his right and left. Yep.
And then a small gong.
2 small gongs or 2 small things above him. A really small
one and then a little bit bigger one.
Straight ahead and up front of him,
Yeah, I could never see his face. I don't know if you could.
I could a little bit, yeah.
Okay, where I was sitting, I couldn't because that medium one was like in the way. And then 2 snare drums in front of him.
Yes.
Yep.
And then he came out and he just started with both hands hitting the snare drums, But
kind of slow at first.
I couldn't remember how slow it was. Yeah, I thought it was the same beat the entire time.
So it's the same beat. But not slow, sorry. It's the same beat. The entire 45 minutes was the same beat.
Okay.
The way that I remember it.
Okay.
It's the noise level, so the hardness, to make it louder.
See, I didn't know if he did it soft and then got louder and louder, or just started loud. I thought he just started loud, and it stayed consistently loud for like 10 straight minutes of just dun 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 dun.
It was 15 minutes of just the tick 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 tick.
Yeah.
And then he transitioned into a tick with the small gong.
So what transitions he made, I can't remember exactly the process that it went, but I remember that and again, I can't remember if it started off slow, like just.
It wasn't, you're right. I said the wrong thing with slow. That's the wrong word. It was softer, and then it got louder and louder and louder and louder.
But even that, I can't remember. I thought it started loud. But no, I'm just saying what I remember. Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is what I remember.
Okay.
But in any case, if he was, started softer or got louder, whatever, to me, that's not necessarily what I was trying to get to. What I'm trying to get to is when he was doing this, he did it for what I felt was at least 10 minutes. And again, the edibles, I think, started to kick in because I started to hear weird noises, I thought, during this. And I couldn't tell.
You kept asking me, do you hear that?
Yeah, because I couldn't, there was a group of people behind us that were talking a little bit at first when they first, their group got together.
Yeah. And
they went and sat down and they kind of stopped talking. There were a little bit of murmurs, I thought, here and there that you would pick up through the crowd. But for the most part, the crowd was one of the best crowds I think I've ever been to. It was silent. People were enjoying the music and just taking it in. I was honestly very nervous about seeing this type of show
me too.
Because of that.
Yeah.
The Keening, I think, played this same venue, Thalia Hall, last year, and we missed it. And knowing how we saw them at the Decibel Beer and Metal in Denver, I was worried of seeing them again if they would have a lot of chatter. People who go to this venue to hear this kind of music, I guess, gives me new hope that, all right, the Keening would have been fucking awesome here to see that show. Yeah.
To know that, this is softer music, just listen and absorb it and don't talk over it.
You're not going to have people who are sitting there having a conversation about their day. Yeah. They're here to listen to music and see it live.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing, because I don't know how many people knew Jon Mueller at all, because the way that I see his Instagram, it's not like he's doing shows often.
Yeah.
It's so on the Instagram, like the internets, or the Google, whatever. But his tag on Instagram is sculptor of functional sound. And I saw that after we saw him, which going into it, when it first started, at first I got kind of annoyed. I'm like, seriously, how long are we going to listen to this?
Just that snare drum. Yeah.
Just the tick. And it wasn't even like a snare drum, like the shh. It was just tick, tick,
a solid
tick,
beat,
tick,
both
tick,
of them
tick,
going at the same time.
Yep. And at first I was like, that kind of annoyed me. And then after probably the 10 minutes, 15 minutes, after a while, I was like, okay, this isn't necessarily like a song that's happening. It's an art piece.
Yes.
It's taking in the moment of what's happening. And I kind of my mind switched where I wasn't like, I'm here to watch a band perform. I'm here to see the art happen.
I started, my mind started wandering a little bit as well. And I said, I thought I heard little noises every now and then, either a hum. There was definitely a time where I swear I heard a hum. And I asked if you heard the hum. And later on in the performance, he was doing something very similar, I think. I can't remember exactly what stage in the performance this happened. But as he's back to the snare drums, hitting the snare drums, the gongs on either side started to wobble a little bit. So it's all right, so is this percussion, the vibrations of this percussion causing the gong to wiggle a little bit? Therefore, that's where I'm hearing this hum type thing.
Yeah, because it did seem so when he would hit the gong on the, I'm saying gong, that's probably might be the wrong term for what.
No, I think they are. They're the giant round, basically brass cymbals that they just hang down. And you just hit it. I'm pretty sure that's a gong.
Okay.
But there was one thickness and different shapes and whatnot.
So I was really trying to. So at one point he's hitting both sides like this. And again, the whole 45 minutes is the same exact beat. Which in my mind, I'm like, how do you keep the same exact beat for 45 minutes? But whatever. And when he's hitting it, it does make a different sound because he was hitting it a little higher, a little lower. So it makes a different sound. And that's where I'm like, okay. When he hits one up high and one down low, I think it made a louder sound because it was still vibrating from the top.
Yep.
That when he hits the second one, it would be the same sound. I'm not explaining it very well.
Yeah, but also the one on his right, like I said, I think that was a good 3 inches thick.
Yes, yeah.
And the one on his left, I think, was very thin.
Yeah.
So again, yeah.
Which he had a bigger mallet for the one on his right versus the one on his
left. The different mounts you use, like the softness on them, that also affects it. He was also hitting the gongs up here. But back at the beginning also when he's doing like the 15 minutes of just like I said, my mind was wandering a little bit. I kept looking around the venue because the venue's fucking beautiful. I love that. Watching the people around. The woman next to us had this old-timey sort of camera that she was taking long exposure photos, I think.
Oh, is that what she was doing? I was trying to like figure out. I mean, obviously I saw the camera, but I couldn't tell if it was like recording or if it was a exposure camera.
I think it's an exposure camera, and I think it was more for like an art type thing. Like okay.
I knew that. Yeah.
Okay. No, not like recording video or anything, but definitely like a camera.
That's why when I first saw her and I went like this, I was meaning like an old time like recording camera where like to record you had to spin it to record.
My dad used to have one of these cameras. He might still have it, but it's to look like now when you have a camera, you look at the back and you look through like the peephole thing. This one, the top flips up and you look down into it. Okay. And that's how you see like what you're going to shoot and whatnot. And I think
and that's why they hold them lower.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that much about photography, but.
But when my mind was wandering and I'm going around and he's doing like the 15-minute beginning, blah, blah, blah. There were a couple times I wasn't watching him, but it almost sounded like one of his hands got offbeat. There was like tick, 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 tick.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
And then as soon as I would turn my head around and I'd look, it was back to the solid same beat.
So is it how you were turning your head?
See, I don't know. See, that's like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this because it was all those little nuances coming in. I was like, maybe, like, again, it's an art performance. So part of that is how does just the same constant sound affect different individuals?
Well, I wonder, we should have done this, and now we can't go back and do it, but I wonder if we would have moved to like the far right or far left, or stage right or stage left, if it would sound different.
Yeah.
Then we try to be, or I mean, we didn't try, like, we don't always do this, but we try to be center for this.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of said like, hey, do you want to try to be we were kind of right center or stage left center.
Yeah, center stage left. Yeah. What you said basically. I don't know. I just reset it. Whatever.
Stage left center. I don't know. But anyways, but yeah, I wonder how if it would have sounded different if like because you're saying like if you were turning your head or whatever, you could hear or it sounded different. I could hear that I don't know which I was trying to figure out which stick, but it sounded like one stick was hitting the drum head.
Okay.
And one was hitting like the side.
The rim.
And maybe that's where like if you turn your head, if you could hear like both of those being off a little bit, and that's where you were thinking.
Well, that's what I'm also wondering. Like I thought both of them were hitting the drum head in the center, and then maybe like one of them every now and then would hit the rim and then go back to the center. So it's like
okay, I didn't hear that, but it could have.
You have your beat like tick tick tick, and then click tick 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 click. So so that's where I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing things. Maybe that's the whole point of this performance is to like let your mind wander and just experience it differently.
Yeah.
If I go back and see this performance again, how's that going to change and whatnot? But yeah, in any case, that 15 minutes of just the drum center snare heads is over, and he takes one hand, I think the right hand, and starts doing like the little gong up here. Again, I can't remember what he did, but he did all the gongs and all the drum heads and whatnot.
Yeah. So he went snare, the small gong, both, or the medium gongs in front of him. And then it was the small gong with the one on his right.
On his left, the big one.
On his left, yes. And then he went to both gongs. And then he went to one gong and a snare. Because I remember that. I was watching that. He like started going more closer to the inner rim. And then he went back to it ended with the bow snares.
Snare drums again.
Oh, he had a bell in there too.
He did have a bell, right? I think that was when he got back down to the snares. He pulled up like a bell that he would just chime every now and then, I think.
No, it was the same beat.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just everything was the same beat.
I mean,
I think that's where you were getting off because everything was the same exact beat the entire time.
If you say so. Yeah. I'm gonna. All right, I don't remember that.
One, you don't know how to count times.
I do not know.
You can't count times, and also.
Like I said, my mind was wandering, and I don't know.
But I think at one point you asked, like, "Oh, do you hear a hum or whatever?" And I was like, "I hear like a bee buzzing."
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, like a hum. yeah. And again, that's why I think it was going back down to those two snares, and just the vibrations of those were moving the gongs, or something was causing it to. Or my mind again was wandering, and after you listen to the same beat for 40 minutes. it would plays tricks on your head.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what goes on. I don't know enough about like musical theory or like that sort of shit to say one thing or the other. Yeah. So
I loved how it ended though.
Because it went back to the two snares.
And then it was just like loud, done.
I kind of thought that's what was going to happen when he get back to the two snares. Like, all right, we're going to be done.
Yeah.
But is it going to be a slow sort of...
like quieting down?
Slow it down?
I feel like it got louder.
It did get louder, and then it just sort of stopped. Yeah. So I was trying to anticipate what was going to happen there. Also, are we going to go back to another 10 minutes of this? It did go on for quite a bit, but it didn't go on for 10 minutes. I didn't
time it, yeah.
Yeah. I fucking loved this performance. I thought it was so much fun.
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it in the space. I think it would also work in like an art space as well. It would not work in like a middle heavy metal concert, like at House of Blues or something. It would not work. Going back to fuck Devin, but like in the middle of heavy this and then a heavy band, like it would not.
So in college, I took a music appreciation class as one of like my humanity credits or something that I had to do. And during this, I don't know if I've said this story on this podcast or not, but if I have, whatever, I'm doing it again. But during that, we learned about this performance. And I don't know when it was, 80s, 70s, or when it was, whatever. But this, I think, pretty well-known pianist put on a show, like a live show. And part of it was, it was a new piece he'd never played. It was going to be out here, and he's going to play this piece. And sold out show, big old, classical theater and whatnot. Brings out an egg timer, turns it to like 5 minutes, sits on the piano, sits down and just sits there in silence and lets the egg timer go. And then after like a minute or so, you hear like a cough and whatnot. And eventually you start hearing people boo, people get up and leave. Egg timer goes off at 5 minutes. He stands up, he bows, and he leaves. And that was his new piece. It was more of, abstract. I don't know. You can make the argument, was that art? It was art, but was it music and so on? I think this would be really cool to do in one of those center stages, like you were saying, at the House of Blues or something, because you're going to have a lot of people that aren't going to react the same way that they did at this show. So I think it could be fun. I think it could work, but it's going to be like a nuanced thing.
Okay. I mean, yes, you could do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it would go over well, and I would not enjoy it as much as I did this night.
Yeah, I agree. I would not enjoy it as much. I think it would be fun. I would like to be there for that type of show. I think it'd be fun.
I don't think he would have lasted on stage for 45 minutes.
Oh, I think he would have. I think it would have been fucking... it would have been funny, I think.
Do you think people would have been moshing during it? Just to make fun of it?
I don't know if they would or not, or if they would have just started booing and chanting or throwing shit toward the stage and whatnot.
I get what he was doing. I don't think it would be I don't think that he would put himself in the middle of a concert, though.
No, I agree. I don't. But I think it would be a fun experiment, a fun way to, like, that. If we were at a metal show and they're like the first opener or something, and we know what to expect because we saw it already at this venue, I think that would be cool for us. If we didn't know it going in, then we're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But in any case, I thought this was fucking awesome. I didn't know what to expect going in. I kind of knew a little bit about Khanate. So I kind of knew what to expect. So when this started, I was like, all right, this fits perfectly for what I know about their band and what their sound is going to be like.
I think it's Khanate.
Khanate? Is that how you would say it?
I can't remember now. Gosh, we looked it up like an hour ago.
I didn't think there was the extra ate. I think it's Khanate.
Okay. No, you might be right. Khanate. Or Khanate. No, same. I didn't know about either one of them. You had played Sunno before, which one of the members of this is in Sunno. So like the night before we started listening to that. And also when we got there, I remember you saying like, oh, this is going to be fun. Because all you see is like the square setup with.
That, and not only that, but for Khanate, I think it was, the back, they had just a giant sheet of metal hanging there. Yeah. So I was like, oh, all right, what the fuck is going to happen here? How are you going to play that thing? So I thought that was going to be fun too, yeah. Getting in then, I guess, to Khanate. Jon Mueller was fucking awesome. I really want to see this again. I think it'd be a blast to see it again.
But like you said, I don't know if it'll be the same show again.
But that's fine. Like, knowing what it is now, it's not metal, but like
not metal at all.
It's still a blast.
Jon Mueller is not metal.
Yeah.
No, but it's definitely an art performance.
Yeah, and it was so much fun just to experience that. Maybe next time I would do it without edibles. I'm not a big fan of edibles at shows. I can do it like during Dead and Company and whatnot, but that's a little different, I guess.
Yeah, I think if you would have had a clearer mind, maybe you could have paid attention a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or not paid attention. That's the wrong way to say that, but just been able to absorb it a little bit more.
Yeah, I also don't really enjoy them that much. I don't know. I do and I don't. Whatever. But whatever. That's a different topic for a different day, maybe. Okay. So yeah, Khanate. I can't exactly remember how we found out about this show. I think it was like a Metal Injection newsletter that had it listed like Khanate is touring again, and knew nothing about them, and throw them on our spreadsheet, mark them as green, like, hey, we still need to buy this. And if we do, we do. And then it was after Thalia Hall, seeing Paleface Swiss.
Yeah, after we went to Thalia Hall. Yeah.
You were looking up other shows to see there and like, oh, we're never going to see a show there again, or it's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
And I think we even said it during the podcast. Yeah, like, oh, it's going to be a long time. And then you were looking it up and you found like, oh, well, here's a band we might like, Khanate. They're like a drone doom metal type thing. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be really cool. When is that? And I go to the spreadsheet to add it, and it's already on there. And it's like, oh, shit, somehow this was on there.
Yeah,
Let's definitely buy tickets.
I didn't know that you had seen it before somehow, wherever you found it. Maybe you need to add a column to like start putting where we find things.
Maybe, yeah, how we discover it, yeah.
But anyways, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, I remember seeing it on there, and then it was like, oh, let's go. I was more excited to go back. Not that I knew anything about Khanate or anything like that. So,
and I had listened to just a few seconds because I like to go to a show not really knowing the band's music for the first time and wanting the live experience to be sort of my introduction to the band. So I did listen to the music a couple times after that conversation, and like just quickly, and I think I played it for you even. And I was like, oh yeah, we're going to this. I'm gonna fucking love this. You won't like it, but that's fine. I'm gonna go.
I liked it.
Because it was all instrumental stuff. It's all sound based, and you really like the vocals. It's not, but that's what I was expecting going into it. Because also doing a little bit of research, Stephen O'Malley, who's in the band, is also in Sun O.
I think they pronounce that Stephen.
Oh, is that how you? Jesus Christ, Stephen O'Malley. Sorry about that. I'm really fucking bad with English, especially names and words.
I like that, Stephen. It is spelled like Stephen, though.
Okay, but it's Stephen O'Malley.
I'm pretty sure, because I've seen that spelling before, and everybody says Stephen.
The Irish aspect of it would be Stephen, I guess, and that's the O'Malley as well.
I was going to say, like, now if he pronounces his name Stephen, I apologize for correcting you. But
no, you're probably right, not me. In any case, I kind of knew what we were getting into based on that alone.
Yeah.
And we discovered Sun O last year, 2024, at Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Yes.
A guy had a whole sleeve of Sun O art tattooed on him and whatnot. And he was telling us about it. He's like, yeah, I love Sun O. I put this on when I want to go to sleep, whenever I just want to chill out. They're fucking awesome. There's just long moments of just sound and noise that just sort of all meld together. And it's really cool. So we checked them out. They've had a few things on Record Store Day that we've picked up, listened to them. I fucking love Sun O now because like it is that. And the last one we got, I think it's Oracle. That was that art exhibit they did back. I can't remember exactly when. I need to do more research on that. I still want to learn more about that. But that album has 2 songs on it. One song on side A, one song on side B. Like they're just 2 long, 15, 20 minute long songs. So I kind of knew what we were getting into when we got into the concert. And even with Jon Mueller, when he starts playing, I was like, I bet we're only getting one song, and it's just going to be this one song.
Oh, you thought that? Like when he
as soon as it started, because it's like, I kind of know what I'm getting into. It's either going to be that or it's going to be 2 songs that sort of just meld together. But no, it was just one song.
Yeah. I like how you're calling it a song, because I would say piece and not a song.
Sure.
It's not necessarily. I guess I don't know what constitutes as a song, but I would definitely call it a piece.
This one I definitely constitute as a song, but it's also an art piece for sure. Okay. I could see where you're getting. And again, that's where like to me, this is where it really starts to get very gray between art and music, right? I mean, music is art, but an art installation versus a musical exposition or musical performance.
Isn't it musical exposition when it's...
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're
not very good at this.
No. So in any case, getting into it, I kind of expected long songs, and I think you looked up previous set lists for Khanate.
Yeah, so like one of them, they haven't really done much lately, but like one of them would have 3 songs, one of them would have 4 songs, one would have 2 songs. So I was like, okay, we're getting a little closer. Maybe between these 3 set lists, it's an entire set. Thinking that, you know.
Because sometimes it is that way. Sometimes the Setlist FM will have 1 or 2 songs per performance, and you go to the next show and it's only 1, and the next show and it's like 12 that they actually knew. And
then it's like, okay, so we're getting there where we can like put together the entire set list with the songs that were there. So.
But sure enough, we got 4 whole songs.
Yeah.
4 whole songs. But
that's fine because they're like
25 minutes long.
Are they 25 minutes long?
They were.
I thought they were like 13 to 17.
Were they? Well, we can look it up real quick. The first song was Piece of Quiet, followed by Commuted, then To Be Cruel, and they ended with Under Rotting Sky. Piece of Quiet, all right, 13 minutes for Piece of Quiet. You're about right.
Commuted's 19.
Commuted's 19.
So you were closer with 20. Are we going to say who was right and who was wrong?
No.
Under Rotting Sky was 18, so it's closer to 20.
To Be Cruel, 26 million views, or 1,000 views. No, 20 minutes.
So I was right about 1. You were closer on 3.
Closer on, yeah, the other 3.
But they're not 25 minutes, like you said. So I was right.
Long as fuck, basically, was what I'm saying. They're long as fuck songs. And again, I was expecting more instrumentals and not as much vocals. There were a lot of vocals in these.
Well, I guess a lot of the vocal. So what are they considered? Drone doom?
Drone metal, doom metal, drone doomy, fun stuff.
Okay. Drone doomy fun stuff. That's going to be a new genre.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Metal.
I don't know.
Okay, drone metal. Drone doom. Something like that. But anyways, I think that's the doom that we heard. Was it year 1 or year 2 of Decibel in Denver, where it's more the long, drawn out, like just, now I'm going to use the word drone, but like where the guitar riffs, it's not like fast guitar riffs. It's just like, dum.
It's like, just one sound that they let it hang and linger.
Yeah. And then the vocals come in and it's just the drawn out, like, you know, scream or just drawn out, like, word that just goes on. And I think that's the doom that I think that when I think of doom, that's what I think of.
Okay.
I don't think of Trouble.
No,
which is like thrash metal doom.
Right, yeah.
So that's not what I think of. So when I think of doom, that's what I think of, is like the drawn out, and that's what I like.
The drony aspect of it.
Yeah.
And Mother of Graves has elements of that too. They have a lot of elements like that as well when we really like Mother of Graves.
Yes. Yeah. Where it's just like the drawn out, like where it's just, I don't know how it all comes together, like just goes together so well. But it's not like fast, like, which is so weird because a lot of metal that I like is like the fast paced, double bass pedal and all that stuff. And this is just, you know, like
every action, every strum of the instrument, every bang of a gong or drum is intentional.
Yes.
And it's there for a reason.
Yes.
Like that particular drum hit for that, like how hard I'm going to hit that, where I'm going to hit it on the drum head. It's intentional. You get the sense that they have tried 14 different other ways to hit the drum until they found the right one they like. Yeah. So, which is fun, but it kind of gets, I don't want to say it gets pretentious-y, but there are moments where I can see, like, I could see somebody who's really, really into, like, you know, the stick up their ass sort of art exhibitor type person who goes and looks at, like, well, the use of color in this section of the piece is brilliant because blah, blah, blah. And
like on a painting or something?
Yeah, something like that. So I can see people who are into music, like deeply into music, doing the same thing here and being like, well, the way they hit the snare drum here really echoes the blah, 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 and like getting super fucking deep into it and making it like...
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. And but that's where I was like, all right, I can see people who do that.
Yeah.
And it's cool. If that's what you want to do and that's what you want to enjoy, like that's not how I enjoy music or art. But I know there's people out there, so I could see there being certain individuals in like the music community who would gravitate toward this because of that.
I see.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it becomes more not educational, but what's the other word when you're searching knowledge?
Informative?
No. It becomes more academic.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what I mean? And like I'm not here to like
I don't see it that way, but I get where you could see it that way. Yeah.
Again, toward the end of the set, I kind of felt that way a little bit.
Okay.
I also dropped my earplugs, so I didn't have earplugs to begin with. And I know you noticed early on the night and you called out like, you don't have your earplugs in. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I dropped one. So I only had one, so I'm not wearing them. But I forgot I
saw where it was. Did you have the purple ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was outside the bathroom.
All right, so that's what I thought. I dropped it. I'm not going to go outside the bathroom, pick it up, and shove it in my ear now. But I forgot I
saw one on the ground when we went to the restroom in the middle of the set, and I was like, "Oh, there's a purple." In my mind, I was like, "Oh, there's a purple earplug. Like Brian has purple earplugs." Yeah,
only one at the time, but I did have my AirPods, so I put those in halfway through because honestly, the vocals were getting to me a little bit, with like the loud, not screechiness, but like the loud aspect of them. Yeah. So
there was the guy in front of us. I don't know if you could see him, but he got out like a decibel counter on his phone. He? Yeah, like to see. And it was only the highest it went was 103, so it wasn't like that loud.
I don't know what loud for decibel counters are.
I guess I don't know either, but like we've been at concerts and it gets up to like 106 or 112. Because at the rave they have that like on the second stage at Milwaukee Metal Fest they have a decibel counter.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, we've watched it before.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because we were trying to get it to go to like, 85 could cause damage to your ears.
Yeah, 85.
Well, shit.
So heavy, basically construction equipment is what they were basically playing at.
No, they were playing at Music Club because it was like 103, 98 to 103.
Oh, I thought you said it was like 118.
Oh, no. I was saying we have seen it go.
Okay.
You know. Oh, we're good then. We're not in the red when we go to concerts.
We're in the orange.
We're good. Why do you need earplugs? But for the composition of the stage or like the setup of the stage, I thought it was awesome because they just kind of stood in like a square kind of, well, not stood. The three of them stood, but the drum kit in the back and then guitar and bass on the side and then the vocalist in the front.
Who had like an instrument that he would play to like make his vocals, I think.
So I think it's like gosh, I don't even know what it's called, so I shouldn't even be thinking of the word, but it's more like a electronic thing that would like make his vocals
distorted bit.
Or
repeat maybe.
Yeah. Like, so I think that I've seen other artists with those, but it's on the floor.
Yes, yep.
And this was up on a stand.
On a stand, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so they were all in like a square type thing, and it was just one single white light on them. There was no lights anywhere else on this stage.
There were multiple, I think, right? Because I remember thinking like, I like how they're doing their lighting because it's very much like Uda at Milwaukee Metal Fest the year before, where they had lower lights aimed upwards.
Oh,
so I think they had behind the drummer and the bassist, they had a light behind them at the base pointing up.
Oh, because I remember like thinking like multiple times, I'm like, I like just the 4 lights down on them.
Maybe it was downwards onto them, but I thought it was from the base up. I can't remember exactly.
Okay. I thought it was, anyways.
Anywho, the lighting was really great. I thought the lighting was fucking
like,
awesome how they did it. So it's just
like, instead of like, I'm saying normal concert a lot, but instead of like a traditional metal show where there's lights all over the place or like even strobe lights and stuff, it was just simple 4 lights that came down. They never changed.
Yeah, the different colors they do sometimes for effects and whatnot. This didn't. It was consistent with those lights. Either doesn't matter what direction they were, it's still basically the same effect we're both talking about here. I thought that was awesome. They same way Jon came out. They just came out, kind of waved to the crowd, and just started playing. No interaction with the crowd. Not, I think, till maybe right before the last track, or maybe even they didn't do it then. I can't remember.
No, it was just at the end.
At the end, it got over. They said thank you. They bowed and they just left the stage. Mm-hmm. Like no.
And then the house lights came on. I'm like, well, it's over.
Yeah, it was.
That is how you could tell if a concert is over, or if there's gonna be an encore.
Yep.
If the house lights come up, it's over.
And I do remember joking with you, like, so one more song for 20 minutes? Which
I would have been fine with.
I would have too.
Like, I thought it was really cool. And I liked a couple of the songs in the middle. So what were the songs again? Sorry. So Pieces of Quiet was more just the drone out vocals.
Yep.
Commuted and To Be Cruel, there's more, it's still drawn out vocals, but like there's more like lyric, like you can hear the lyrics or listen, understand what they were saying. They're Under the Red Sky. I can't remember if there were or not. And it made me think it would be really cool, like with the To Be Cruel song, just like sitting out on the patio, not having our lights on, just in the dark, and just have that play and just like stare out into, into the city. And I was like, that would be really, really cool to do.
So like I said, I took edibles for this. We did this once for a Chemist and Mastodon show because we were like, that's going to be awesome. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't Chemist, was it?
No, Chemist opened. It was Mastodon and Opeth.
Opeth, yeah.
And Chemist, that was our first time seeing Chemist. Right. And then again, I
don't even remember Chemist at that show. That's so horrible.
Yeah. And then for other shows like Dead and Company, I'll take a vape pen and some edibles, and I'm fine at that show for some reason. I don't know why. But here, again, I took the edibles and it was really like kicking my ass and I was like zoning out, struggling to stay focused on the music. I don't know. But I agree, like when we do smoke here at home or do edibles here at home, I know if I'm going to do that, my night is shot. I can't. Like
we can't do this.
I'm not doing anything for the rest of the night productive at all. I'm going to sit down and watch TV. I'm going to listen to music. I'm not cleaning. I'm not fucking doing laundry. I'm not doing dishes. I'm fucking out for the next couple of hours, right? So in the summertime when it's nice out, we sit on our patio and we'll get like a pre-roll and we'll smoke that, right? It's the same thing. Like I know I'm shot. This is going to be after dinner because I'm not going to be able to make dinner beforehand. So
you make dinner?
From time to time, I do make dinner. But so that did make me think about this as well of, okay, do I like this live or at home?
Yeah. And that could be part of it.
And I don't know if I necessarily liked this live.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I did.
Oh, I loved it.
I could see myself enjoying this so much more at home.
Okay.
Sitting on the balcony, maybe smoking a pre-roll or something, like zoning out there and enjoying that outside at our place. But now having to leave and be somewhat functional and having that in the back of my thought or something, I just can't. I'm not that great with weed. Alcohol, I can do that all day, and I know how my body will function. I can function with that. Not with weed. I can't. I don't know. I just haven't learned how to do that, and I don't know if I ever will. But I do remember having that thought during this show of, I am having fun. I do enjoy this show, but is this something I need to see live?
Okay.
I'm glad I saw it live. I would definitely see it live again. But I think my preferred way to consume this music is definitely at home, where I can relax a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
That's sort of my thought leaving this. I had a blast. I loved it. But I think at home would be better. And honestly, we were leaving. You were like, I love that. I was shocked to hear that you actually had a blast during this. Yeah. I did not think you would like this.
Oh, well. I don't always listen to metalcore and deathcore music.
No, you do not. But you did enjoy this, right?
I did. I enjoyed it so much. No, I don't know if I would enjoy it again. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much. Say if Khanate. Sorry, I think I said Khanate so much that's in my head. How do you say it?
Khanate.
Khanate. If they played, like I said, even if they played in the middle of, say Suicide Silence and Lamb of God, or Suicide Silence, Obituary and Lamb of God, hence Baroness, I would probably not like them as much because I would be like, this isn't, you need to keep the energy up, and this doesn't have that. Where in my mind, multiple times, I'm like, they would be awesome at Decibel Denver Beer and Metal
I was going to
Fest.
say, I thought the same thing. Decibel would be a great show for them.
Yeah, but you and I with Decibel, we go towards doom metal.
Yep.
Where the last year, 2 years ago, we were there. Was that when the Red Chord was there and Ken Noise?
I don't think so.
Or was that last year?
I think that was last year, and they did have a couple of really drony doom metal bands.
There was, but then there was also not.
For their headliners. Yeah. And then you might be thinking of the Cannibal Corpse and Pig Destroyer year.
No, because that was the first year that. No, I don't know.
Whatever, anyways, they all kind of blend together.
Anyways, they do. And it doesn't really matter. But one of the years, I just remember being there and being like, this isn't what I expected, because I remember having doom, and maybe that was the second year we went was doom, and then the last year was
one of the days had a lot more less doom.
Yeah,
I remember that too, where it was there wasn't as much doom. I was like, oh, I wanted more doom.
Yeah. Which not everybody's into that, so that's
right.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
that's a good thing about Decibel. It is a very
it's kind of all over the place.
These sort of subgenres of metal don't get a lot of I want to say love in obviously in the mainstream. Metal doesn't get love in the mainstream anyway, but
even the mainstream metal community, these don't get.
You don't see these type of bands that often. So or in big venues. So if you're going to see a Lamb of God show, right? A bigger name band that's touring, you're not going to get shit like this typically.
Yeah.
But when this stuff does pop around, it's so much fun to go to, and it gets so different. So I do love Decibel for that, and I thought the same thing of, fuck, these guys would be awesome at Decibel.
I just don't know. I mean, unless they headlined, they would only be able to play like one song.
Yeah. But then again, that could be fun.
Yeah. Just have them get up there and play one song and be like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get with an opener that gets a 20-minute time slot. You can play a 20-minute song.
Yeah.
And I think, though, they would be big enough where they're going to be closer to the top of the bill.
Where they would be able to play like 2 or 3 or all 4 if they headlined.
Yeah. So. And like I said, last year they had somebody who was very sort of droney. Or was it last year? Again, they're all sort of building together. But they've had some bands that have been kind of droney metal toward the top. Yob was one of them like that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Where they were kind of droney.
So I saw on Instagram somebody put out like the ABCs of metal and shows that they saw, and they did not have a Z band or a Y band.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, we've seen a Y band.
Yeah, Yob.
But I could not think of a Z band.
There's got to be some out there. Zulu.
We
saw them last year.
We did.
They're from LA, I think, if I remember correctly. So we would have
had all of them.
We probably could have had all of them.
Oh, I should have. I guess we could probably put that together sometime.
We should do that sometime, yeah.
Yeah.
Knotfest Iowa had Zulu.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Right there.
Yep, we would have had all of them. So, anyways, sorry. You saying Yob made me think of that.
Yeah. But no, I think these guys would have been great at Decibel.
Yeah.
I will definitely want to see them again. Again, I love Sun O. It fits very well into the Sun O sort of vibes. I've never seen them live. I think that'd be awesome. I don't know if they're still touring or whatnot. I hope so. But yeah, it's a fun experience. And next time, definitely not going to do the edibles for me. And maybe that will change my perception, right, of it as well.
Yeah. I do have to say, I'm glad that we had seats.
Yes.
I think I was going to try to go into that when I was talking about, like, if this was in the middle of a really heavy show. I don't think I would have enjoyed standing there for 2 hours between the 2 sets, or, Jon Mueller and Khanate.
Yep.
Sorry. I hate that. Like, once I say it wrong now, or I don't know, maybe both of us are saying it wrong.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But anyways, if I would have had to stand there for... See, now I said had to stand there. But if I was standing for 2 hours listening to this, I think I would have not paid attention as much and maybe wandered around a little bit, or, like that sort of thing. And not necessarily, like, I feel like since we had seats, it was more like focus on the music.
And we said
focus on what was happening.
Yeah, and we said that too. Like, our preferred way to consume music live is definitely standing in the GA to have that energy of the crowd. Yeah. I kind of knew going into this, again, based on what I knew of the band, what very little I knew of the band, I knew this is going to be a show that we could just kick back and actually enjoy sitting down, which again is why I took the edibles.
Yeah. I do have to say, from the balcony, you could see down onto the crowd. And obviously, maybe there could have been pits and stuff, but it wasn't. Like, people were just kind of standing.
I think so.
However, during Pieces of Quiet, everybody who was on stage right, like, there's a moment, it's just the beat, and it's like...
I kind of remember that.
Like, almost every single head was just... like headbanging.
Headbanging,
but it's not like headbanging like a thrash headbanging. It's like just whole body. And then on stage left, there was two people who were like really into like just whole body, like banging through the whole set. But I loved that during Pieces of Quiet, where it was just like the whole crowd in unison was just like slow motion headbanging, and it was so cool.
Yeah. I already said this. To me, this was like one of the best crowds I've ever been to for a show.
Yeah. No, granted, we weren't on the floor to know if people were talking, but at least in the balcony. I mean, you didn't hear the whispers.
Yeah, I think if you were on the front, again, for Jon Mueller, you could hear people whispering. Yeah. Like, I did hear that, which is fine. But they were whispering, right? They were talking silently.
They weren't like, oh my gosh, I got the best parking spot. I got some beer, like blah, 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 blah. Like,
they were keeping quiet. Trying to talk as low as possible when they needed to talk.
Still, don't talk.
Yeah. They all had their phones, for the most part, dimmed while they were taking photos and videos, which is something we try to do, and it doesn't always happen. There were definitely a few people that didn't, but the majority of the cameras I saw when people were photoing and videoing had their cameras dimmed. So I was like,
is this our group of people?
Maybe.
Do we need to be around these people?
I was like, this is probably the greatest crowd outside of... like a classical music hall or something that just came to enjoy and experience the music. The Nutcracker, the guy behind us wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, that wasn't the Nutcracker. That was like the Harry Potter thing.
It was a Nutcracker too.
Oh, I just remember the Harry Potter thing, and like the guy was just talking, and I'm like, ugh. Anyways,
but there was a time where a few podcasts ago, about a year or so, I kept asking you every show, like, what's this for the crowd level? Oh, yeah. One being this. I was trying to make that a thing for some reason.
Well, and also I was like, every single time I would post a video, I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like, I would hashtag shut the fuck up, because there was a moment where now I can sometimes I can ignore it, or we just move or whatever. But there was a moment where it was just like it was that Memphis Mayfire show and Atreyu. That's the one that really got to me, where I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, listen to the band.
Yeah. Why'd you pay money to listen to the band if you're just going to sit here and talk the whole time?
Yeah.
But like I said, this crowd, I was blown away. Like, I was like, holy fuck, this is probably the best crowd I think I've ever seen a show with. And I was so happy for that reason.
And for this venue, this was the perfect venue for this performance.
It was. Yeah. It definitely was.
I could not think of another venue here in Chicago that would be... Well, that we've been to anyways, that would be better.
The Vic would be cool, but it wouldn't be better than this. Like, there's some that would have been cool for this, for sure.
Yeah.
But this it felt right. This venue felt right for this music.
Yeah. Even the Vic, I mean, the Vic's really cool, but I feel like this was better.
Yeah,
Vic. Yeah. Anyways,
I honestly did have a blast during this show.
I think I had more fun than you.
I think you did. I will definitely want to see these two artists again, live again. But like I said, for me, the better enjoyment or the better experience for me personally would definitely be at home, you know, listening to it there. But I'm glad I went out to see it live. It was a cool new experience, learned some new music, had a fantastic fucking time. I can't wait to listen to more of their music. So in any case, though, it was live music. We were out there in the community. It was fucking awesome. So go check out some live music, and you might be pleasantly shocked and surprised by what you get. So go out there, and we'll catch you at the next show.
Bye.